What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode, number 2, Verbal Garbage Football Show. Try to make this a weekly thing, kind of recapping the prior week, previewing the next week with my buddy Reef, who's a gambling wizard, a football extraordinaire, and then our buddy Jason, who couldn't make it today. But Reef, you want to recap a little bit of week 1, or you want to cover the Thursday night game from last night? What do you want to start with?
I think we should start with the Thursday night game. Week one's a little far away now.
All right. Cool. Well, give me your takes on the game. Yeah, the Chargers and the Chiefs matching up, a divisional matchup.
It's so funny how Andy Reid has just been coaching in the NFL for 20, 30 years, and he's just the same. He just makes the same small mistakes with time management and stuff. But it's so funny every time they play the Chargers because they're the only team that's way worse at it somehow. Their coach is just I don't know what's going on with that guy. He loses them games actively.
What last night? I was watching with Kurt, actually, who actually drove over from his house to watch a football game with me. Which
Go State.
If we're living in the metaverse, I mean, truly, he's coming over to watch football now. And I was trying to explain to him, I was like, Brandon Staley is a very aggressive coach. He's always going for it on fourth down, always going for it. And this game, he's punting it the whole time. You know, they have 4th and 5s, 4th and 3s, 4th and 1s. And I'm like, where's the Brandon Staley? If you're gonna have a mantra and you're gonna have that mentality, then we got to stick to it, right?
Yeah, it's just weird. He's so in his head now because it didn't work out. I guess for them last year, they kind of blew it. But you have so many weapons. Your defense is improved. You got to go for these wins, especially on the road. You know, it's
game too, the toughest division of football. The wins aren't just gonna come. So I mean, they were in that game the whole time. You know, the Chiefs started pulling away a little bit, and the Chargers came right back. And Herbert, you could tell. I mean, what did you think about his injury? That looked pretty serious. I mean, he was grimacing the whole time. And
I'm no doctor.
Hollywood.
I'm no doctor, but it looked like he definitely broke or bruised some ribs.
That's what I thought of, because his back rib seemed to have landed on that guy's helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, geez. And there was that one play when he was scrambling out. It was I don't know if it was a third down where he just kind of gave up on the play
And it's I saw some people on Twitter saying he was playing possum on that play so he can set up the touchdown. It's I don't think I think he just had a moment of madness and he threw that perfect pass. That was an awesome pass.
Oh my God. It was, who was it to? Was it to Palmer?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. And I mean, they just got all the young weapons. Keenan Allen was missing last night, so they were relying a little bit more on Mike Williams. Yeah, I was on another guy's podcast talking. We were doing pretty much a whole entire football show, and it's pretty funny. But I was saying the Chargers are always plagued by coaching and kicking, and it's just it never seems to fail. It's one or the other. It's a combination of both. So I don't know, man. It's just it was a great game, Thursday Night Football. What'd you think of the new commentary team, Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, blending a little bit of the college with the pro, baby? Come on now.
So I was actually watching at work, so I actually had the game on silent the whole time, so I couldn't hear it.
Well, I enjoyed it personally. And Herbstreit, he's going to be doing. Did you see Chris Collinsworth on Sunday night with his little voice?
Yeah, he was dying.
All the hate he was getting. I was just laughing at that, and I was like, maybe it's just the curse of Al Michaels leaving him, or
yeah, right. Maybe I think he just needs to take a couple days off. He sounded like he was under the weather.
Well, we're gonna see our boy Herbstreit because he's doing he'll be doing the Saturday night ABC too, right, for college.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So I think he'll be doing the Thursday and the Saturday. So we're really gonna see what he's made of, to see if his throat's got a little more endurance than our boy Chris. But week 2 coming up. Any matchup that's sticking out to you? Obviously, I would love to cover it. We'll try to save the big Monday night game for last. But I mean, I got the slate pulled up here. If you want, I can do it on my laptop and share the screen as well, just to kind of interact a little bit with the watchers out there. And I'm still learning how to do this smoothly, so let's just bear with me here. But yeah, we got where we go. We got the standings right there.
All right.
Week 2.
I've got mine pulled up too. So I see it. You pulled it up on the screen. Awesome.
All right. So, I mean, right away, Tampa, New Orleans. Our boy Jameis, the divisional game. Brady's got the funk against the Saints ever since he's been in Tampa Bay, but that was under Sean Payton, a whole different regime. What do you see going on with this game?
It's a tough road game for the Bucs always, no matter who the Saints have had playing at quarterback. Whoever's been out. Michael Thomas missed both games last year. Yep. So I think personally, the Saints have a good chance to win this game at home.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of pulling that way too, but I feel like this is the time, when everyone's writing Brady off, and these could be the moments. And I've been all over the place with the Bucs this year. I feel like at some points. I know that was a team that you thought was going to crash and burn this year. And some days I feel like it is, but I'm like, I've written Brady off before, and he always seems to come back and make us eat our words. So,
yeah, I famously wrote off Brady the year he beat the Chiefs and won the Super Bowl.
We've all done it.
It was tough, and maybe I'm going to be wrong this year. I don't think they were tested last week at all. You saw how bad Dallas is. They're a horrible football team. I'm not saying that as an Eagles fan. I'm saying that
even with Prescott, dude, they look like
he's horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm now starting to go on the side that actually Carson Wentz is way better than Dak Prescott.
All right, let's
Carson
talk.
Wentz is not very good.
Let's talk though. Week 1 is a little bit in the rearview mirror now, but Carson Wentz revenge tour, guys. I mean, it could be real. I predicted on the Verbal Garbage first football show that was going to be the Eagles' first little trap game, if you will, that they're going to lose. And, the Vikings might have looked better than we thought coming into week 2, and that's looking like a dangerous game. But, man, Wentz, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean.
That's Wentz.
And then this week, it could be all burned down, but I'm not rooting for the guy to fail. I think it was kind of nice to see him have a good game. But when the Eagles play him, I want it to be an absolute demolition. So yeah, Tampa, New Orleans. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. I think Fournette looked good. I think Julio Jones had really showed some signs of life. I still really like their defense. Yeah, what did you think of Julio? Is he able to step in for Godwin maybe because Godwin got hurt a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, but thinking about it, it makes sense. Brady's like a veteran quarterback. Obviously, he's 45 years old, and he knows that Julio doesn't have what he used to have, so he's not going to force stuff that he would be able to do when he played for the Falcons years ago. So he's going to get him to his spots, throw it to him, get their 8-9 yards. It's smart football. I like that. I'm happy for him.
That was caught me a little off guard. They were doing some jet sweeps with Julio, and I was like, who is this?
I don't know. Maybe that's what he wants to do now. Maybe he can still run a little bit. He just has a little trouble getting open sometimes. I don't know.
You think there was any needles in the off season potentially?
Everybody in sports seems like they're very talented and they work very hard, so I'm not going to accuse anyone.
Damn it. All right, let's move on to the next game. Let's talk Carson Wentz. We were just talking about him. He's going to Detroit, going to the Motor City. That team just gave our defense, when I say I'm talking Eagles, they gave us everything we could handle. It was a pretty pathetic showing, in my opinion, on the defensive side. I know this isn't about the Eagles right now, but Jonathan Gannon, what are you doing? We got all these acquisitions in the offseason. Jordan Davis is barely playing. I don't know. We lose Derek Barnett. All right, forget it. Washington, the Commies start off with 1-0. They're going to Detroit 0-1, but a lot of the preseason darling. What do you think of this game?
I think they're 2 very well-matched teams.
Young.
I think Washington, they beat Jacksonville week 1 at home. That's great.
That's your team.
Struggled, got it over the line. Got to give them credit because I think Jacksonville's not going to be that bad. Detroit, on the other hand, played a pretty good game versus a team that obviously we think and many others think that are a Super Bowl contender. To score 30-plus points versus a supposedly great defense, and we'll see. Maybe they'll just get better throughout the season. But it's pretty impressive. The two-headed monster at running back, I think, is something that they have great going for them. It seems their line is improved. They picked up some more weapons around St. Brown, so I don't know. I think Detroit is going to surprise some people this year, maybe.
What are we thinking? Maybe a wild card or just fighting, getting 500-ish and just kind of making a name for themselves? And
yeah, I think a season where next season there's going to be a lot of hype there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I could see that as well. And then the other side of the ball, Brian Robinson, as we talked about, our boy, he took a little shell to the leg and now he's got a little limp, but he's back on the field as of a couple of days ago, getting his reps in. Antonio Gibson now, a little bit of a resurgence project. Maybe the coaches were writing off, the team was writing it off. He looked good.
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel on the outside looked tremendous. That guy Dotson, I think, another receiver. Yeah. Then they have McLaurin. I mean, the Commies, they might be a little dangerous. We might have been underestimating them. I mean, what do you think about them?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they not win the division last year?
I thought the Eagles did.
The Eagles did?
They played the Bucks in the playoffs.
They didn't have a home game, so they didn't win the division.
All right, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, pull that up.
I'm gonna do it on the iPad because I think it'll be a little bit faster.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And you just you keep talking about your thoughts about the Redskins are known as the Commanders these days. Talk about the Redskins.
They got some good players, good defense. I think.
I hear people saying that always, and I'm like, are they a good? Are they like?
Are they? I don't know. It seems like I see. They just give up big plays. It seems.
It's so hard to like. I should have probably commissioned you. I feel like you're a little bit more of a. Oh wait, we might have something here. Yep. Eagles were the 7 seed. Dallas was the 3 seed. Dallas lost to San Francisco in the first round. Of course they did.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember now. So that was the year before they won a division with Taylor Heineke.
My guy. Yeah. Sorry that took a while, but yeah, no, the Commanders. I mean, they might have a little something. I don't. All right, he needs a second. He needs a second, everyone. So I'll carry the airwaves. Ron Rivera. He's been around for a while. He might know what he's doing. I'm not sold. I don't think he's the greatest coach, and they're a younger team. Sometimes you want to get that younger juice, that younger blood in there for the young pups to respond to. They can latch onto the teat of a younger coach and get a little more inspiration from him. I think I'm gonna go with Detroit. Their home field advantage against the Eagles, I think, was pretty evident. I mean, they don't really have a lot of sellouts to their name the last few years, and you can't blame them. I'm just kind of talking about Detroit the last few years, about not having a great turnout of a crowd, and now against the Eagles, I think they had a pretty good sellout crowd making some noise. So I think that's going to play a factor in the game. So I'm going to pick Detroit in that one.
I agree.
I don't want to get into points. The points are so hard, so we'll just go into that. Real quick, let's do the Cleveland, New York game. And as the weeks go on, now that I know we'll start doing this, I'm not going to copy Bill Simmons, but I kind of want to do like the watchables and shit. I just think that would be kind of fun. And I won't listen to his before. Now we'll figure out.
Who cares?
New York and Cleveland, we don't need to go over that too long, but I think Cleveland's pretty decent. I think they're going to be 2-0. If they can get a pretty decent record with Deshaun Watson coming back, that's going to be scary. The running back, the defense. What do you think?
Yeah, it's surprising. I thought they were going to be really bad this year. I'm not going to lie, but I was pretty impressed with them last week. But I'm not going to fully think they're going to be some playoff contender yet. I think they're actually going to have a tough game with the Jets this week. I don't know why, but I
definitely won't it won't be because of Breece Hall. You fucking waste of space. Sorry. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Elijah Moore. I like some of the receivers. I think they got some good young talent. Yeah, I think Cleveland's definitely going to win that one. They're going to be 2-0. I don't know who they got next week, but starting off 2-0 with their best player being suspended or one of their best players, it's pretty impressive. Both got Cleveland, I would think.
Yeah, I agree.
NFC East team, another one. The Giants of New York taking on the Carolina Panthers. Matt Rule fighting for his job, I think. He's each week he's going to be a name that's kind of being a buzz. Baker Mayfield's kind of trying to prove himself again. Saquon Barkley rebirth, looked good. Giants were pretty impressive. So what do you think about that? I think the coach makes a big difference, Brian Daboll.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a pretty impressive win considering, Tennessee was the number 1 seed in the AFC last year.
Yeah. That's who they beat, right? Yeah, Tennessee.
And I'm not fully sold on that. That was an upset, and I'm not fully sold on the Giants being a contender in the NFC East yet. I think they're going to have a tough game versus Carolina this week. And if I had to pick, I think I'm actually leaning towards Carolina.
Same here. I think them coming off a tough loss where I think they were probably expecting to win. I know Baker was expecting them to go in and beat his old team and show them what they're missing out on. And I think there's going to be a little revenge. Giants, home field. I'm not so sure of that. Both going to pick Carolina in that one.
Yeah, Carolina for
sure. The Patriots of New England going to Mitchell Trubisky's territory and playing the Steelers. What are we thinking there? Najee's got a little bit of a hobbled wheel. Patriots looked pathetic last week. What are your takes?
Yeah, I have to admit I have a little bias when it comes to being against the Patriots. I been rooting for their downfall for a lot of years.
Yeah.
But I really think this time I'm correct. And I think they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. And I think the Steelers are going to beat them pretty easily.
Really?
Yeah, I mean the
You don't think
Steelers.
go?
I don't think they're that bad. Obviously, their offensive line has a lot of questions, quarterback a lot of questions, but that defense and Mike Tomlin, I trust them.
All right. Let me make the counter argument to that.
Sure.
Defense is great. Defense is missing TJ Watt. Torn pec, we're thinking, out for the year. I mean, that could potentially be one of the biggest blows of the season for any team. I mean, he is arguably the best defensive player in the whole league, makes such an impact, gets all these other guys free, gets so much attention. Bill Belichick, coming off a tough loss. We got to believe in him, and that you roll your eyes, dude, but we got to believe in our guy until he shows us otherwise. And I know Mac with the back's having some spasms, and I know there's some issues going on, but Patriots, let's ride.
Yeah, I mean, if you pick the Patriots, I can't argue against it. Obviously, Bill
Trubisky
Belichick
looked like hell. We got to admit. I mean,
yeah, and I actually kind of like Trubisky a lot more than others, and he didn't look good at all.
he can run the ball, and like when you turn on, like, oh, that's exciting. He's like moving around, but I'm like, he looked like shit. I mean, albeit it was against a good team that we thought in Cincy, but that was a crazy game. So you're going Pittsburgh. I'm going New England.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
And then I'm gonna have to listen to this each week, and then go back and just kind of tally who. Not that it's like a contest, but it would just be fun, Indy and Jacksonville. Indy. Absolutely pathetic. Tying the Houston Texans. Damian Pierce, though. What happened to our mixed little fantasy? What happened to that? Rex fucking Burkhead? Are you serious?
So the coach came out. I think Lovie Smith is their coach now, right?
Santa Claus beer, dog. Yeah.
I think he came out after the game and said, they wish they got him more touches, and he like thought Rex Burkhead was better for the flow of the game. Them kind of being, I guess they were kind of behind at the end, and I think Rex Burkhead got a majority of his work in like the third and fourth quarter.
I thought Houston was winning like a majority of that game, and I thought Indy started coming back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
either way, it's crazy. I was very shocked by it. I know Jason wanted to get some of the Rex stuff off his chest, and I agree. I was flabbergasted. I mean, Burkhead's always been a good player, but when you got a talent that everyone's talking about as potentially the best rookie running back, and you just kind of shelf him like that, it was.
Yeah, but in college they did say he was always in a committee, so he never actually was a full-time like running back. So maybe he's just not fully there yet, ready to handle like, even 2/3 of the load or even half of the load. Maybe he's not ready yet.
Truth be told,
and he's young, like we see what the Broncos are doing with their Williams guy. Like, what's the point?
Why are they still giving Melvin Gordon the fucking ball?
I understand it though. It's like, why do we want to run this guy into the ground when we know we could have him for the next few years while Melvin Gordon's still fine?
Yeah, but he's got, I don't know if it's just me, if I'm making things. I think he has such a propensity to lose these carries inside the 20-yard line. And like, here he goes again. They give him a goal line feed trying to vulture Javante's work, and he fucking coughs it up again. It's like,
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I don't really like Indianapolis. I think Taylor and Pittman are awesome. Their defense is decent, but I like Jacksonville in this game.
I'm gonna go with no, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go with. I
mean, Christian Kirk last week was nice. James Robinson, I thought, looked really good. Etienne started catching his groove. Like, I think they're gonna be on the upswing.
I think I'm gonna lean Jacksonville here with the home game.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna get it done.
I'm going with Jacksonville. One of the most exciting games for me at the 1 o'clock window: Baltimore and Miami. My boy Lamar Jackson. Little shaky last week. All the hype around Bateman. He had a long touchdown catch, but I didn't feel so great about them. Dobbins, I think, is coming back this week. I could try to look that up. Miami, they're two explosive outside weapons, or inside, whatever you want to call them, Hill and Waddle. Other than that, not much to be said for that offense. Give me your little feedback from last week between their performances, or your outlook on this game. What do you think?
With Baltimore, I think it's kind of unfair. They had a pretty bad weather game last week, so I'm not going to judge how their offense looked, really. It was really shitty in New York last week.
Yeah. Fair enough.
With Miami, obviously, I am very low in the Patriots, so I think they just won a home game versus a bad team. I'm not really impressed by them yet.
No.
You know how I feel about Tua. I think he's the worst quarterback since you-know-who. And
thank you. I appreciate that, honestly.
And I mean, the one thing I have to say about Miami that I was kind of surprised by.
You know who?
I mean, I'm not surprised, but like Tyreek Hill is really good. Doesn't really
He's
matter who's
so
throwing him the
good.
ball.
He's
It's just
so
like
good.
terrifying. And even watching the Chiefs last night, it's like I think they thought they could get Juju and he could do like a third of the things Tyreek can do, but he can't do anything Tyreek can do.
It's crazy. Juju is like not really.
He looks horrible.
He's not really involved at all, and I thought he was going to be awesome. And I was like, they're still going more to Cole. It's getting hard, man.
He
They're
seems
going
like he's
to him.
like. It seems like as far as their weapons, like the running backs, the 2 tight ends now.
Yeah.
Scantling, Kelsey, and Hardman are all ahead of him in like the pecking order when it comes to like who Mahomes is,
And
getting involved.
Clyde finally looks good, and maybe Hill's opening up a little more. I don't know. It's weird, but Chiefs look awesome.
Yeah.
So what were you were talking about?
Miami.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're not very impressed with them. Obviously, Tua, you're not thinking they're going to be able to go to Baltimore and eke out a win. Really,
I wouldn't. I don't think
they keep up with Buffalo. They can't fall far behind Buffalo in the standings because I don't think they'll be able to catch up. So they got to really. This is a huge game early on, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm leaning Baltimore because they're home, but I think they're 2 pretty well-matched teams as far as where they could finish this year.
It's a tough game.
Now, if Miami wins this game, I'm going to be hugely impressed with that start because Baltimore, since we've been fans of football, Baltimore has been a staple.
For sure. Nothing better than the 2006-7 to like 2011 Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers rivalry. That was like peak football of my life, I feel like.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was the best. The defenses, the running games. If this game was in December, January, I'm picking Baltimore all day, the weather, but I think that Tua is going to be able to go in there. I think they're going to have a decent weather. I think he's going to be able to spread it around to those 2 weapons, get a little bit more of your boy Mostert involved, a little bit of the Chase Edmonds action. Fins up. We're going Dolphins on the road.
I saw a highlight last week where Tua threw a pass to Tyreek Hill on the left side, and
moving on,
the ball was about 30 to 40 feet in the air, and Tyreek Hill somehow jumped up and caught it.
Hey,
but
you just got to throw it up there if you got the weapon,
True. More quarterbacks should just force it to their weapons. I agree with that statement.
Speaking of forcing it to our weapons, Cooper Kupp, he got force-fed last week, and man, that guy, I mean, everybody on the field, everybody at home, all the coordinators, they know where the ball's going, and that guy constantly seems to get open. Does Atlanta have any chance of slowing them down? I mean, the Rams, when I say slow them down, I'm talking about Cooper specifically because the Rams right now, I don't think you're very impressed. The lack of running game is going to be a problem. The secondary receiver, big question mark. Give me something.
I think this being a home game for the Rams, and Atlanta, I mean, they didn't do bad last week per se.
No, I was impressed, honestly.
I think they're just going to catch the Rams after a bad loss, and the Rams are just going to crush them. I just don't think they have any possible way of stopping Kupp. As you can see, Buffalo, who has one of the best defenses in the league, had no real way of stopping him. I don't know what the Rams are going to be able to do. Or the Falcons, I'm sorry.
No, we know. If it was a team like Pittsburgh or the Eagles or the Chiefs, a team that travels well, maybe going into LA, they could take over and have a little bit of a quasi home field advantage. But Atlanta's not really known to travel in flocks. So I think Rams, I think you got a good prediction here. Bounce back game, easy. Probably the blowout of the week if I had to guess.
Yeah, it's I think the Rams defense is very you can score in the Rams defense.
I was going to say they're like streaky. If we're talking basketball, like they get really hot, they can make some turnovers, but when they're not.
But the Falcons just don't have a good enough offense to give them any problems.
Agreed. All right. Problems. What a problem San Francisco 49ers are having. All right. I made a note of it earlier as I was listening to a podcast just to talk about the whole Trey Lance conundrum of what they ended up giving up to get this guy. So they traded the 13th overall pick in 2021, their first round pick in 2022, their first round pick in 2023, and a third round pick in 2023. Okay. We've seen not a lot of this guy, but now granted, the weather in Chicago was god awful. But this is going to be a situation all year, no matter what. He has 5 bad minutes, 5 bad plays. They've got a backup that is overqualified to be a backup. I could go on for a long monologue about this, but talk to me about the Jimmy G, Trey Lance, 49ers landscape.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough game last week to judge him on,
For sure.
bad weather away in
But
Chicago.
Fields look
But
decent,
that's what I was just about to say. Justin Fields, who was in the same draft, I believe, who everyone is very down on, who actually I think looks a lot better than people have been giving him credit for lately.
Yeah. He
Like
doesn't have a lot of
preseason,
weapons,
yeah. But yeah, it's weird. Like I don't want to like completely say that was one of the worst trades ever to get a quarterback who is unproven. He wasn't even that great in
And what
college,
did
from my
they
knowledge.
moved up like not a ton, right? They moved up like 5 picks or 7 picks.
Yeah.
Because supposedly Kyle liked Mac Jones more than Trey Lance. I don't know what it's a mess. I still think he can look pretty decent, but it's going to be one of the you know what it's like when you have a decent backup quarterback or you're in a big market and your quarterback plays well. We've seen it countless times with the Eagles. I don't know. Like, do you think Jimmy's going to get traded? Do you think he's going to supplant Trey and start for the 49ers? I mean, you got Dallas. It looks like they're going to need a quarterback. There's teams all around the league that don't have great starters. What do you think about that?
I think there's a ton of pressure on Lance this game because obviously
and by the way, Seattle, it's a divisional game for the sorry, I didn't mention that, but Seattle's on the road at San Francisco.
Yeah, and I think like if you really believe in this Trey Lance guy, you should have let Jimmy G go before the season started so he doesn't feel that guy over his shoulder.
Literally, exactly.
And I think, and going back to this game, I think Seattle is going to win this game because I think Geno Smith, as he showed last week, there's no pressure on that guy to do good. He can just go out there and just play football, no pressure, win or lose. It's like, whatever. I have no expectations.
Y'all wrote me off, but they didn't write me back.
You wrote him off, but he didn't write back.
So, yeah, man, that's going to be such a mess. We got the 10-minute warning. I don't want to rush through these, so if we don't mind bleeding into another one after this, 15 minutes, that'd be great. But yeah, the Jimmy G, we just got to spend a little bit more time on that. I feel like you said, re-signing him. I mean, there was this whole like hold in now where the player, instead of holding out, like they're showing up, but they're not participating really. And I think that's what Jimmy was doing. I think he was at camp, but he wasn't doing anything. And I mean, Jimmy's notorious for being like the guy in the locker room that everybody loves. And that's kind of why New England had to push him out because the younger guys supposedly were really connecting with him as opposed to Brady. And Brady was getting a little butthurt about it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know of any situation where the quarterback starting, the team takes another quarterback early in the draft, and it works out. Like, it never does. The Eagles took Jalen Hurts. I said that day in our text, Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter. And I remember Jason yelling at me, as he does.
Yep.
But it was so obvious. Like, you don't take a quarterback in the first 2 rounds if you don't see him as a potential starter for your team.
All right. Well, I'm going to we'll save a little bit. I got to save a little bit of my juicy Jalen content for the Eagles stuff. But no, you did say that, and you have a tendency to call some of these things, and I'll never shy away from that. That's why I got you on here talking football, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know many other people that are getting 6-figure checks from DraftKings or 5-figure checks, dog. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's eat. Don't worry. I'm just kidding, everyone. Yeah, the Seahawks, I mean, they looked what would you say they looked decent? I mean, it was a weird game.
Okay. I mean,
I
the
fell
Broncos,
asleep.
I'm not a Broncos. I was very low on the Broncos this year because I'm not like, I think the league has gotten so fast, athletic, big, strong, that Russell Wilson being short is actually like showing now.
It's
like,
crazy.
His size is finally, he can't move out the pocket as he used to be able to do. So it's like, he's thrown a lot of passes that are getting batted down. He's thrown a lot of 7-yard passes instead of airing it out because he's a coward as well. But
and he's married to a hermaphrodite. That's besides the point.
I mean, that's not true at all. But that was a fake internet rumor when we were kids.
It sticks with us forever. Yeah, Broncos country. Let's ride. I was not very impressed with Russell, the coward. Like you said, not being able to really move outside the pocket and make the plays anymore with his feet, or I don't know if he doesn't have the willingness anymore, if he's just like doesn't want to get hit. I don't know what it is because he still looks like he's agile and he can move. So He's got weapons. I mean, they've got speed. They've got great receivers. They've got good running backs. So I don't know what his excuse is this year.
I don't think he has an excuse, and it's really weird. It's not weird to me, but it's like seeing how all of his ex-teammates kind of like celebrated.
Yeah.
It seems like my observation is like they don't like him. All right, whatever.
He's a weird dude.
I think they think he's like about himself. Like,
well, I wonder how much that played into that whole 4th-1 Super Bowl thing with him and Pete Carroll, because supposedly their relationship's not great, but in the beginning, I think Pete definitely catered towards him, and that's a whole conversation itself, that whole 4th-1 thing. But I mean, Russell. I mean, Sherman was just shitting on him last night or 2 days ago, and there just doesn't seem to be a lot of support out there throughout the league and from players.
And the one that surprised me the most was I saw a Doug Baldwin tweet. And like he retired. He retired a few years ago, but like
he was so good.
He played, he was on the Super Bowl team. He was awesome.
Amazing.
And it's like I feel like the beef with Russ started after the Super Bowl, but I guess it was even then. Like maybe they just don't like the guy.
What was his tweet? I didn't even see that.
I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, please, because Doug Baldwin was a notorious, incredible route runner. He was there when Tyler Lockett was coming up. I think he played a role in helping him develop a little bit potentially. Seattle's an interesting team this year. I mean, they're in a division that's, for the last couple of years, wouldn't you agree, they've probably been the best division in football?
Yeah, right? I guess you have to say that.
I mean, the NFC West has been with San Francisco and the Rams the last couple of years, and Seattle's always been tough, at least at home. And I can't think of the other team right now. Cardinals. They've had a couple moments, but I think San Francisco's got to get this game. I think Trey Lance has got to get this game. It's huge. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. And by the way, the last game, the Los Angeles and Atlanta game, and this game that I'm talking about now, we've kind of been going in order. Those were all the 1:00 games to start. Now we're in the 4:00 window. So there's 2 4:05 games this week and 3 4:25 games. So, this podcast we love listening to Bill Simmons. They're always talking about the lack of 4:00 games. Reef, we got 5 this week, baby. How you feeling about that?
I'm weirdly not that big of a fan of a lot of 4:00 games.
I mean, I love it, but the slate this weekend is not great. I mean, it's Vegas and Arizona, Houston, Denver, Cincy and Dallas, and San Fran, Seattle, with LA and Atlanta. So it's actually pretty grim when you look at it, but having football on, you think I'm going to come on, baby. I get so hyped.
Obviously.
I know you are too. And when you're in fantasy football, like we are, I'm in 3 leagues, and it's just like, you always got something to track, and there's always juice going on. And I was against 4 players in 1 league last night. I didn't have any. I didn't even look at it yet, but Eckler didn't do that great. So
it's looking like 0-2 and 0-2 for me in both my leagues this year.
But you can never rule yourself out. If you think you got a good base and a good fundamentals, and we can ride out Broncos country. My brother kept saying that last night. Now I can't.
Literally the funniest thing ever.
It's getting me so mad. He just kept saying, "Let's ride." I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Seattle San Fran game?
Yeah, like I said, I'm leaning towards Seattle just because I think.
Wow, damn, you love Geno.
I don't love Geno. I just think like I said, I think there's too much pressure on Trey Lance, and I think this could be his last game.
Week 3, Jimmy.
If they have it serious,
wow.
if they believe they're a playoff team, you can't go 0-2, maybe with a chance of going 0-3.
Oh, I mean, we kind of talked earlier about I think they gave up 3 first-round picks in 3 years in a row, and then a 3rd-round pick. Can you really bail out on that guy after 2? I mean, did he play at all last year?
He played? I think I don't know if you remember. Week 1, he came in for a first and goal, and he scored a touchdown, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh!"
And that was it, right?
Yeah, that was it.
So it's just I don't think I'm really sold on him yet, but I do have him on a fantasy team, and I'm kind of holding out hope that he can maybe. I don't know, George Kittle. I don't know if he's coming back this week, but he'll be back. Maybe that'll give him a little bit of a security blanket and help him.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It's to give up that early on him. I think is definitely a little crazy.
Yeah, I think I'm being a little unfair. Last week's game was really bad.
Terrible.
Condition-wise.
We've got an intruder. Yep. Okay. We good?
Yeah, I had some food delivered.
Hell yeah. What do we got?
It's just some chicken.
That's a little
like a salad, like grilled chicken salad. I got a side of rice.
All right.
With my gluten allergy, I can't eat much.
So is it a special rice or?
No, rice is fine.
Talk to the people about the gluten allergy real quick.
I mean, I just can't eat bread much really anymore.
Oh,
It's really it. It's not that bad.
living in the sacred state of New Jersey, where we're known for our bread and our bacon. Speaking of which, my mom is literally. Her and my dad just went home for the weekend. Fortunately, my grandmother passed away. To rest in
Sorry to
peace,
hear.
Marilyn Webker. Thank you, I appreciate it. But I paid for a check bag for mom to get and bring back panzerottis, bagels, and donuts. So the
I
holy
mean,
trifecta is in play, and I will never get tired of the Jersey food. And I just have a lot of sympathy for the gluten intolerance, dude. It's something I can't
it's
imagine.
really not that bad. Trust me.
Well, we're you don't mind finishing off a little because we're under a minute here, so I'm gonna end this one, then we'll just do a part 2. So please, guys, check out part 2 to follow. It's gonna be a verbal garbage football show, episode 2, part 2, coming right at you. All right.